What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Curtain to Curtain. My name is Phoenix Clouden,
I am Lazuli.
and we are back, your adjacent theater kids. We are talking to musicals. I didn't want to throw an adjective in there just yet. We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah.
to that.
Two musicals.
We're doing two musicals today. We are in the bees, in the thick of the bees. We have Bring It On, the musical.
Yep.
And we got a classic, Bye Bye Birdie. So this should be very interesting
Oh
to
yeah.
discuss. Um, Lazuli had quite a time.
Yeah. I had not seen the. This is such a sin as a black person because I didn't see Bring It On until last night,
Mm,
and I also haven't seen Friday, which I need to fix.
Jesus,
Yeah. It's a
your
problem.
card is your black card is in my possession now. Like,
Yeah, I need to. I had a coworker also do that to me because her name is Miss Parker, and she was like, "How do you not know Friday?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry,
oh my goodness.
I am sorry." But I've seen the movie now, so I have a better perspective on this as opposed to what happened with Beetlejuice. I still haven't seen it yet. I will watch it. It's on my list for
Man,
this year. It will be watched.
oh man, thank goodness there's no Godfather musical. I'd be in trouble. Alright. So finally watch the movie and listen to the show. Let's start with Bring It On, shall we?
Yeah, yeah.
So
No
me,
escape from Lin-Manuel Miranda.
no escape. You will
No
never
escaping.
escape. I had no idea he had anything to do with
Me
this.
either. But I will say, once I started listening to it, I was like, okay, this is kind of different. And then as we got further, and I was like, oh, there he is.
There it is.
There
There you
he
go.
is.
I thought we was gonna get away. Nah, there
There he is.
he is. Yeah, like when I searched it up, I was like Lin-Manuel. Oh man, and y'all know me. I am the Lin-Manuel apologist of the adjacent theater kids. And yes, so I was very happy when I saw his name on there. That he had written some songs for the show. Um, and then I listened to the show.
This show has damn near nothing to do with the movie, which is incredibly disappointing because the movie was really fun. I will
Yes.
say though, based on what I knew prior to the movie, I was for the first 20 minutes being like, where are the black people? Because I thought that they were the main characters
Mm,
and not the white people.
mm.
Based on everything that I had heard prior to watching, I was like, oh yeah, the Clovers, they're the main characters. No,
No,
they're not the main characters, sadly. 'Cause
that would have been. I mean, that would have been an interesting story
that would
too.
have been cool, like
Like,
having Bring It On from the perspective of the Clovers. That would
yeah,
have been cool.
I mean, yeah, that would have been cool.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, kind of a missed opportunity, yes,
Yeah,
but I get it. It was the 2000s. You know, they
yeah,
didn't think black people could sell movies for whatever reason.
yeah.
Anyway,
But
but
yeah, this musical, it's not bad. I had it was a nice listening experience.
mm,
Um, I thought it was fun. I was
mm,
very disappointed that it had nothing to do with the musical, like the movie though.
hmm
The only comparison is that it's also about cheerleading
yeah,
and that there are
that's,
two teams, and
yeah,
one of them is an inner city school
yes,
that has never been to nationals.
yes. That
That's
is
that's
that's
it.
it.
That's
That,
where the
that's
comparisons end.
end. Imagine my shock as someone who has seen Bring It On millions of times,
Yeah.
right? And loves that movie to pieces,
Hmm.
and is also one of the people who firmly believes, that every movie should be turned into a musical because they're just better as musicals.
I strongly disagree.
I get that a lot.
I no. Mm-mm. Not every movie needs to be a musical.
Everyone,
No.
everyone, they will be better. Anyway.
Oppenheimer does not need to be a musical.
Oh, come on, that would be awesome.
Dunkirk does not need to be a musical.
That would be insane. like
The
just
Fast
thinking.
and the Furious
Oh,
does not need
that
to
would
be
be
a
the
musical.
greatest. Are you kidding? It would be the greatest freaking musical of all time. Oh my goodness. But yeah, like I think the innovations that you can do with musicals would just is so funny to put into
Okay, I'll give you
any
that. It's fun
any
to
different
think
type.
about.
Yeah, any different type of
Fun to
movie.
think
So
about, yeah.
yeah, so it'd be fun. So yeah, and I love the story of Bring It On. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I was like, I like knew that it was a good movie and that people liked it, and that like from the surface it seems just like a basic cheerleading movie, but like it's got a lot of layers to it when you really sit and think about it. And
Oh, yeah.
everything. Like that bitch about colonization and
yeah,
like
exactly.
gentrification from the 2000s
From the
when
2000s.
nobody wanted to talk about that shit.
Yeah, it was so clever too, because it was like, not only are we going to make it a comedy, we're going to put it in the world of cheerleading, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like, talk about just hiding your intentions the entire time, and
Yeah.
I love it. I love
It's
it
great.
as a story.
Yeah.
And so imagine my shock when we get to this, and I'm like, hey, that great story that's in Bring It On,
gone.
why the fuck is it not here?
Yeah, like they don't even address, like it would have been cool if they like kind of sort of tried to do their own spin on the whole gentrification plot. But
Yeah.
they don't even do that.
Nah. Like, I don't know if you know
Like-
this, but the movie Bring It On has about 6 or 7 sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, all terrible. Like, all really, really bad. And it sucks because it's got some names, and a few of them have some names in it.
Aw, damn.
Like, Hayden Panettiere is in one, Zoe Saldana I think is in one, Christina Milian is in one,
Oh shit.
Solange is in one. I'm like, yeah, so I'm like,
They got fucking Solange.
like, they got people for these remakes, and they're just so bad. And I never seen them, but I imagine that's the story that we got here. One of these has to be the actual story. You named it Bring It On.
The Wikipedia article says that it is based on the original 2000 film.
No, it ain't.
No, it's
They
not.
lie. No, it ain't.
No,
No,
it's not.
It is based on Bring It On. It's based on Bring It On, In It to Win It, or
Yeah.
Bring It On
plot
Again.
Of this musical is obviously we got the main character who wants to be captain, and they go over the cheer camp shit, except there's no spirit stick this time.
Yeah.
They're just nervous about going to nationals and everything. So then like there's like 2 others, Skylar and Kyler, which like Kyler's a name for,
Well-
and it's not spelled. It's spelled Skylar without the S.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I have met an actual Kyler, like Kyler, in
Mhm.
real life. He was a white man. I have met one.
They exist, yes.
Yeah, they exist. But anyways, there's they have to introduce all these characters. There's this girl Eva, she's sophomore, she's third in line and everything, and she ends up getting Campbell, who is the original captain, sent to the inner city school, which is Jackson, not East Compton. No. Jackson.
No.
It has to be a nondescript school. We can't have it be based in a location. Anyways, she gets transferred to another school. They don't have a cheer squad, but they do have a dance squad. And then Eva ends up getting the other 2 that are next in succession. I think one of them ends up failing a class. Like she hacks into the school system and gets her grade changed to an F, and she gets the other one mono. And they don't, the characters don't know that she's doing this, though. They just think it's all happenstance at first and everything. But anyways, Campbell, our main character, is like, oh yeah, let's make a cheer squad. I want to do cheer. Go to nationals. Yeah. And she does some lying. and that's bad. So there's a little bit of a little small plot. Not really a plot there, but there is technically a plot there with the lying.
Technically, yes.
Technically. Anyways, they go to nationals. They don't. They lose. They get second place. The other school ends up winning.
Right, yeah, yeah. So like,
Misses the entire point of the original movie.
It's entirely point. Like, I have to think that maybe they didn't get the rights because I'm
Probably.
I'm
why
like,
would they be allowed to have a name?
yeah, I'm like, I don't know, because it something doesn't connect here because it's like you got the name, but you didn't do the story.
Yeah.
The story you did do is fine, but it's not.
It's not.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It's something totally different.
If this was called something else, I would probably like it. Well, I don't know, because some of the lyrics are fine.
Yeah, like
it doesn't do anything.
It doesn't do anything. That's what it was. It was just like I came for Bring It On. I got Bring It On again. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I got Bring It On cheerleading chaos or whatever that movie's called. Like I didn't get the movie the musical version of the movie that would have been epic. Like,
yeah, I think that having Bring It On be a musical, and like I said, having it be like the Clover's perspective or like an innovation on the movie itself, would be fun.
That would have been amazing.
But they didn't do that. It doesn't have to be like they could just do it again. Just do the movie again, and it would be fun. Like you don't even get the like side plot of the boyfriend being a piece of shit in this. Like
no, like honest to God, you laid it out. Like aside from like those like first like 3 initial things, like there's none of the story. None of the story. There's no Big Red. There's no stealing of the cheers. There's none of it is there. I'm like, and then you have a totally different story where this is why I'm like, this is not Bring It On. This is Bring It On again, where you have the main girl joining the all black squad. Like that was a plot of another Bring It On movie. Like, so it really feels like they were like, instead of just doing Bring It On, why don't we just combine all of the sequels and do this story? Which I'm like, why would you do that? Like, there are bad movies. Like, I'm sure there's some weird cult fans out there who are really big on Bring It On, In It to Win It, but the rest of us are like, no, homie, those are terrible movies. Like, so it made no sense to do this that way when there was clearly a better version of this out there.
Yes. Or just do a cheerleading musical, but don't call it Bring It On.
Yeah. Like, call it Cheer or Die. like whatever.
Like, something else. Because
anything else. It just really threw everything off. And then like
what we get is like, okay,
like
I think this was written before Lin did In the Heights. I think it was in between 21 Jump Street and In the Heights.
I think so, yeah. Because I mean, when you hear a lot of his lyrics, they sound like they're still in that framework. Like, so like it honestly comes off to me like they had written much of the musical and they were like, we need something innovative, something fresh. And it was like, let's call Lin.
I lied. I looked. This is after In the Heights.
Okay, yeah. I can believe that. It still feels like it's in that vein.
The version of In the Heights is 2005, which is crazy to me.
I know.
But anyways. So like he's fully in his Broadway bag at this point.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing, and like you can hear him in this. You can hear him.
Oh yeah, it's very distinct.
I don't know what these other brothers are thinking. They must have been drinking. Get it and let it sink in. What are y'all scared? Y'all think cheering is feminine? Then I'm a feminist swimming in women, gentlemen. Consider it, it's a little different, isn't it? You're thinking it's limited. Give it a minute, envision it. Get in the middle of 70 women on television. Every little bit of precision is magnificent.
As soon as we get introduced to Jackson, the rival inner city school,
Yeah.
he appears. He's there. He's in your
He's
walls. It's fine. The score is fine.
Yeah.
Like the lyrics are fine. He makes there's a line in the Heights that mentions Frodo and Toto, and it's also in here. Or at least something similar to that line in the Heights is in here.
Yeah.
Because I remember hearing it and being like, isn't that from In the Heights? What?
Yeah. A lot of it even sounds like in the rhythm of In the Heights.
Yeah.
So you can just tell, like...
Yeah, and I guess the whole point is that this inner city school isn't supposed to be black, it's supposed to be Hispanic. I guess
it's mixed. It's black and
mixed.
Hispanic. Yeah.
Because I know that there's a character called La Cienega who apparently is trans.
La Cienega.
Who apparently is trans. As I looked in the Broadway, in the Wikipedia, I was like, oh shit, she's trans.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Interesting. Whatever. But it's not giving.
It's not giving.
It's not giving what it's supposed to give. Even if it wasn't based off of Bring It On and just was a cheerleading musical, it's not giving what it's supposed to give, you know? When I look for movie musicals and stuff, I'm always thinking, oh yeah, Heathers and, Beetlejuice, you know, musicals that successfully adapt their movie and everything. I know you don't like Heathers. Fuck you. But
I haven't seen Heathers. I haven't seen Heathers.
It's a good movie and a pretty decent musical.
Okay.
In my personal opinion. But this doesn't do either. Not a good adaptation, and it's not a really good musical. It kind of just does its thing.
Yeah, and it was so like I said, it felt like they had much of the musical written. They needed something fresh and innovative, and they called up Lin, and he just won the Tony for In the Heights, and they were like, "Can you do some In the Heights for us?" And probably took him 2 hours, and he gave him what it was, and I was just like, and I was listening to it, and I was like, "Yikes! This is this is thrown in. You could just it very much feels thrown in, and you can tell
definitely." And I'm looking through the Wikipedia article, and there is a thing about a legal battle over the rights.
There is.
In 2011, she got Jessica, the writer, got sued, and arguing that she had rights in the theater production of it, and not movie rights, of course. And a settlement was made, so nothing happened out of it.
It was settled,
Yeah, and there's a tour. The last production of this was January 22nd in 2022 in the UK, which is crazy to think about it, going that far.
It does seem like just you hear about musicals dying pretty early, just not having successful runs, and then you see this one and you're like, what? How?
This far.
Right.
It got nominated for 2 Tonys in 2013. Best Musical, which is crazy.
Wait, I'm sorry, what year?
It got 2013.
Okay, that must have been a year where it wasn't great. It must not have been a great year.
Because interesting.
No. It doesn't make any sense. That could not have been a good year. That's all I'm saying.
No, it wasn't. Pinky Boots, Bring It On, A Christmas Story the musical and Matilda.
Oh God, yeah, no,
So no, it was not a good year.
that was not a good year at all.
Kinky Boots won.
Of course it did. That's a slam dunk for Kinky Boo. Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't win best choreography either, which I think is for the best.
Well, I mean, according to what I read, like they do cheerleading, like they do some very elaborate cheerleading,
Yeah.
which I'm like, that sounds awesome. Like,
Yeah.
but it also sounds incredibly difficult. Which is why I'm like, how is this thing still touring? Because I'm like, seems like something very few people can do. You know what I'm saying?
And it also feels like it's like setting itself up for like a Spider-Man turn off the lights situation.
Uh-huh.
So like I'm surprised it lasted this long.
Right. Yeah, it does seem like the kind of thing where you're like, injuries. Like,
Yeah.
heavy insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also was nominated for a few Drama Desk Awards, didn't win any of them. And in 2011, it was nominated for a bunch of Susie Bass Awards, and it won 3 of them. Best Sound Design, Best Choreography, and Best World Premiere. Play or music.
Okay. Like the choreography one I completely get, because like you said, it's dangerous and being able to pull that off is impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can tell that it wasn't well received, because I mean, like even in Susie Bass, where it's nominated for directing and production and costumes and lighting, and one of the actors gets a nomination, and like none of those things, they don't pick up any wins. But it's like, yeah, because I mean, just what, you know what I'm saying? Like, even like the person who got nominated for feature acting, I was like, who? like,
I don't know who this man is.
I didn't get a sense of characters throughout this. Like, and you mentioned Lazuli, who was trans, and I was like, oh, that's great. I didn't know that.
I just was like, I saw a thing about transgender, like it just says transgender character in the Wikipedia article, so I was like, oh, there's a trans character, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like,
it was the first musical to do that.
Cool.
Yeah,
like legit. I wasn't. It wasn't something that was in my head, but also like that character, I think. At least when listening to it, they don't get like a spotlight, you know what I'm saying, song
she just kind of exists.
Like, but also same for everybody else. like I think the only one who gets like a real like shining song is Campbell, and no offense, not a great song, but like you know what I'm saying, like. There's a couple of examples where throughout the musical it's just like the songs are just like the even like the really good ones, you're like, yeah, that was great, but like you know what I'm saying, like, so it's just like it's not strong. It's not strong.
It's not giving what it could give. Like there's potential here.
There's potential here, but you would have to rewrite the entire thing.
Yeah. Oh my god, wait, Ariana DeBose was in this?
Yeah.
That's a name I know.
Yeah. She played Nautica.
That's the one name I recognize.
I recognize Adrienne Warren, and that made me sad. I was so happy to see Adrienne Warren in the musical. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be amazing. And my heart broke. Like, it wasn't great. I'm glad she got another shot at something, and she was able to kill it, absolutely kill it, and she won her Tony for it. So major props to her. She's amazing. She's such an amazing talent. This was not a great goal, but sometimes you get those, right?
Yeah.
building blocks to success. So she's had success since then. So congratulations to
Mm-hmm.
her. But yeah, this was just it was a it was a considerable effort to do something different, and I feel like they just went too far into different,
Yeah.
and strayed away from what could be good.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you do that. Sometimes you're striving so much for difference that you're
That
not
you just
concerned
yeah.
with quality and excellence.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what happened here. So
Mm-hmm.
it ended up being, while very different, also incredibly generic and not really
Yeah.
quality wise
Like
as
think
well as it could be.
yeah, like thinking about all the other high school musicals. High school musicals. Like all the other like high school based musicals, like I am not invested in any of these characters.
None. None
Like with
whatsoever.
Heather's, I am incredibly invested in Veronica and like JD and all of the other characters. What other High School Musicals? Do I know? And like High School Musical, I'm
Mm,
invested in Troy and
yeah.
Gabriella's like story. Like I
Yeah.
am invested in these characters. This one, I don't
I
care
felt
about them.
nothing.
I'm sorry.
I felt nothing.
Like,
Unlike, as opposed to the movie where I was
yeah,
like, oh, I was so excited for
yeah.
everyone. Like
Yeah.
even
Like
like
I
the
was so like Courtney and Whitney, I was like, get these bitches off the squad.
like
Get
they
these
gotta
bitches off the
go.
squad. Get they
Like
gotta go. And like I was like, you know what, Torrance, you trying your best.
you
You keep
trying your
doing it.
best.
You trying your best. You know what? You're calling out the colonizer. You doing what you can and everything. Like, let's go, Clovers. Like I was invested in all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
This was not
it.
it.
This wasn't it.
No.
So
I also can't believe they unironically named a character Twig.
they unironically named the character what?
Twig.
Oh yeah.
That's one of the love interests.
Yeah.
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 I'm surprised that they went with Twig. It's not even like a oh yeah, his name is this, we just call him Twig. He's
No.
just Twig.
No, his name's Oh my goodness. Yeah. What about any songs? Any songs that stood out to you? Anything that was enjoyable?
Not really. I'm like looking at the song list right now and I'm just
Yeah. I think the only one that
I think Killer Instinct was cool. But like
okay. Yeah, no, that was alright.
that was cool. But like
I think I liked It's All Happening? No. Was that the one?
that's the Act 2 opener. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's that one. I think it's We Ain't No Cheerleaders. I think that's the
Mm,
one. I think no, that's not it. I don't know. I can't even remember. It's one of those two where
ah,
I was like impressed with like one of Lynn's verses in there. I was like, okay,
yeah.
that was cool. But
Maybe it
yeah,
was Friday Night Jackson. I don't
it
know.
might. I have no idea.
I don't
Like
know.
it was the song
Um.
where she was trying to convince them to become cheerleaders. Yeah.
Ah.
So whichever one that was.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only one that genuinely stood out to me. Like, because music wise, it was just so bland, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
The first musical where like I am genuinely unimpressed with the score. Every
Yeah,
other musical I've been like, yeah, the score's either fine or like, I like the score or whatever. This is the first one where I'm like genuinely like the score is not good.
yeah, it didn't move. It didn't move
Mm-mm.
anything.
Even like
Anything.
Avenue Q's score and like Book of Mormon score.
Look at
Like
Mormon
I
School.
didn't like those musicals, but I liked the score.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So final rating. What are we giving? Bring it on.
I'm giving it a C. It's just fine. It's just an average musical.
You are too kind.
It's fine. It's not offensive. It's not notably terrible. It just exists. It is certainly the musical of all time.
It's very, very forgettable. And And the reason I'm punishing it,
That's fair.
yeah, the reason I'm punishing it is because I love the movie Bring It On so much.
That's also
And
very fair.
and I can't believe how they dropped the ball on this one.
Yeah, you
Like
know
this,
what? That's a good point. I give it a D.
yeah. I'm gonna go with a D minus. It's
Yeah.
just it's
I'm thinking
so
of it as its own standalone. If it was its own standalone musical, I would give it a C. But
yes
because it's supposed to be an adaptation, D.
D, hands down D. Just really unforgivable. like
Yeah.
really unforgivable. I kind of hope that there's in the future a chance to revisit this and get it right. But this right here is wash my hands of it. This is this is not it. I'm praying for a revival sometime soon that
Yeah.
maybe completely it innovates and does
Hmm.
this whole thing over because what this was
Not good.
way off the mark.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna be a D from Lazuli, a D minus from me. Very, very disappointing.
Hmm.
Right. So now let's move on to happier times.
Way, way, way back. We bringing it way back. Way back.
Way back to my girl Chita Rivera.
Ah!
Yes. And we are talking about Bye Bye Birdie, a musical written by Michael Stewart and Charles Strauss. Yes, sorry.
Yep.
Yes. With music by Charles Strauss, lyrics by Lee Adams, based on the book by Michael Stewart. So Bye Bye Birdie set in 1958. And it is sort of a, I guess, comedy parody
Hmm.
of when Elvis Presley was drafted into the army.
Hmm.
And they come up with this scenario where our Elvis Presley in this show, whose name is Conrad Birdie, is going to this small town and he's going to sing. They're doing this whole big show of him
Yeah.
going to this small town and giving a local girl one last kiss before he goes off to the army. Then you know
Hmm.
what I'm saying,
On
making a
the
big
Ed
spectacle
Sullivan Show.
just to help his career.
Hmm.
And hilarity ensues, I guess is
Yes.
the way to put it.
Now I have
Uh,
to Google if this place is a real place. No, it's not.
Sweet Apple, Ohio. Yeah, no. Sweet Apple, Ohio does not exist, but it sounds like a great
But there
town.
is a farm market. There is a farmer's market called
Named Sweet Apple?
Farm
Yeah.
Market
Uh,
in Vincent, Ohio.
So dope. So this was in 1958.
Yep.
It has since had revivals.
Hmm.
You know,
Latest
from
revival being in 2009.
yeah, latest revival being in 2009. I do believe it won the Tony. Won
Where
several Tonys
awards?
in
Yes.
1961. It won
Yes.
Best Musical, Best Performance by a Featured Actor for Dick Van Dyke, Best Direction of a Musical, and Best Choreography. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was very successful.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, it's hilarity ensues. You are correct.
so
I think it's fine. I also like. I couldn't get the comedy out of it.
yeah,
And I think maybe if I like actually watched it and not just listened to it, I'd probably enjoy it more. I feel like this has a lot of visual gags in it
definitely.
going on, and there's a lot like that you just miss by just listening to it. So, but that's on me. That's not a harp on the musical. That's on me and my way of consuming it.
Yeah.
But I think
Um,
it's fun. I mean, I think it's silly. I think it's kind of goofy.
very, very goofy.
Yeah. I think that so the way that music was produced back in like the 60s was not great and everything. And not me to be my little music nerd and everything, but I definitely was like, "No, don't put the bass all on one side. No, don't put all the trumpets on just one ear. No." Like, no, don't do that. but I know that back in the day,
Oh
your
my
only
God.
options was right, center, and left. So it's not their fault.
It was so funny because the whole time I was listening to it, all I could think of is, "Oh, Lazuli's going to hate this." It's just like she is going to hate this. Musically, it's just like it's so freaking bad. I was like, "Oh my gosh, she's gonna hate this." It's gonna be so funny.
It's pretty bad. Like the way it was mixed, not very good. The way I don't hate the music behind it too much, although
Right.
I do think that it could have been mixed better. Not even from a sense of like stereoscopically and everything. I just mean like in general, I think it could be mixed better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some filters
Some
have been
filters.
used to cut off some of them high ends, especially for them kids that are speaking and everything, because they sound really annoying.
Oh my God.
And that's probably the point. But I think they could have cut off a bit of the top end so it wasn't piercing my ear.
Especially when what is it, telephone hour? Where,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Hi, Ursula. What's a story? Morning glory. What's a tale? Nightingale. Did you hear about Hugo and Kim? Hi, Margie. Hi, Alice. What's a story? Morning glory. What's a word? Hummingbird. Have you heard about Hugo and Kim? Did they really get pinned?
Where it's all just like they come in
All
so
blending and everything, and you
and they
just
come
get,
in
it just
so hot.
yeah, comes in too hot and everything. But it's from the 60s.
Right. Right.
So they didn't have the technology we have now
Yeah.
to place things properly in a stereoscopic field, and all of that fun jazz. Like they had some of the stuff, but not as well as we have it now.
Right.
So it's fine. However, if I were presented this from like a mix from like 2 years ago, not fine. I would have been like, go back and redo this in Pro
Yeah,
Tools.
you couldn't get out of the booth with this.
Oh.
Yeah, it was jarring to say the least. Like, when I heard it, I was like, ooh, like I was like, why are we popping over here? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not only is it this, it was done in the '60s, so the technology wasn't as innovative, but also it's about '50s music,
Yeah.
which in itself was outdated by the time we got to the '70s. So like,
Right.
yeah, it was a lot to take in because it's like this sound. Like, not only is the sound outdated, but the music is outdated too. So you're like, you really got nothing to hold me on. And like, on top of that, it feels very much, because, Dick Van Dyke was a very big dancer back in the day. So that, like, it's more of a visual musical than it is sonically. So, like, yeah, like, so I ended up having to watch clips from the movie that they made.
Oh yeah, they did make a movie.
Yeah, so I could get like more of a sense of what they were going for.
Right.
That helped tremendously. That helped tremendously.
I figured that like there's probably a lot of visual gags to up the Goofy, and just in general relies a lot more heavily on like visually watching it than like the music and everything. So yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's fun. Still think it's fun. I still think it's silly. I like I think it's funny and silly. I think it does its job. Like
I mean, like,
cool.
for me it was so it was, on top of being like, okay, the difference is, right, it just, the story is funny, and what they do in it is funny.
Yes.
Um, but I feel like they didn't care much about anything else. If-
That's fair. It's
yeah,
not really a good story. It's
yeah.
funny, but it's not good.
Great. You know, like
Yeah.
so that was the only thing. It's like, yeah, you got the humor and the hilarity behind what happens. I get it. Perfect.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
even in the movie, they go even more over the top, right?
Absolutely.
Which
Yeah.
is hilarious. Which, I mean, makes for some great visual gags, no doubt about it. And I imagine if I were to see like a revival of this today, I'm sure, saying with some punching up to the musical
Yeah.
composition, this would slay. Like this
Yeah.
would absolutely slay.
Yeah. It has a kind of sort of similar issue as Bring It On does, where I feel no investment towards the characters.
Mm. Yeah.
Personally. I don't care for these characters. They kind of sort of flat and bland, but I get they're narrative devices. They're not
Mm.
characters. They are meant to be silly and funny. Like we got the angry mom who doesn't want his son to get married.
To
We
a
have
Hispanic woman.
yeah, to a Hispanic woman, which like yes, racism, thanks. But we have the wife who just wants her husband to just be normal and everything. We have the young woman, high schooler, who's like, oh, I'm a woman now because I kissed a boy and I'm in a relationship and everything. And the jealous boy who doesn't want anybody looking like they're flat.
Yeah.
They're
Basically their character and that's it.
yes.
Like,
Their trope. They stick to it. They're consistent at least.
right.
They're consistent, and it works. It's funny, but like I don't feel any connection to these characters
Yeah.
at all. So
Yeah. Cheetah, whom I love. Cheetah Rivera is a legend of musical theater. One of the greats.
yeah,
So she was nominated for this
Right.
role, which of course, what I'm saying. She's a 10-time nominee, so
of
pretty
course.
much she was nominated for everything that she played in. Just about everything she played in. And she made the role of was it Annie or whatever her name is? I can't remember the character's name.
Rose.
But Rose, yeah. So she makes that character, and she gets to play, I would say, the meatiest role out of everybody, because what I'm saying, at least there is some tension and conflict in her character
Yes.
that we can work with and roll on. But yeah, like, and that's the only real strength I see between the cast is her role. Everybody else, yeah, you're right. Like, kind of just stays within what they're given, and it's hard to go any further than that. And yeah,
Granted,
like,
from what it sounds like, this book wasn't giving much either.
yeah,
So their director probably just didn't have much to work with.
it's possible. So. And yeah, like, and it's fine. It's fine. I can't fully really talk about this one because it's so dated, right? It's just so dated. And I know that NBC at some point is doing a live version of this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if they finished casting, but they have announced that they are going to do a live version of Bye Bye Birdie. So I would love to see how that one works out. Like, what I'm saying, and just get a sense of like, okay, seeing it visually, hearing it updated in our times, if it really truly works as a story, as a musical.
Yeah.
Like right now, I can't get that impression. It's just it's so uneven for me.
Yeah.
Like super uneven, both musically and sonically. It's just like I'm not getting it. Like I'm just not getting it. Certain songs even sound like they're off beat. Like it's weird.
Yeah.
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 Like what was it? Lot of
Like,
living to do, lot of loving to do, whatever that song is called. Like I
yeah.
was listening to it, I was like, why do I feel like we're clapping on the eighth? What is happening?
There's music to play, places to go.
People to see.
Everything for you and me. Life's a ball, if only you know it. Yeah, and it's all just waiting for you. Are you alive? So come on and show it. Yeah, we got a lot of living, such a lot of living. Tonight's a night we're gonna fly. Let's kick this shit down into high.
Oh, like what is happening?
Yeah, yeah, it's dated. It's dated.
Yeah.
Very dated, and my cats are being incredibly distracting.
Well, I mean, also
But
like, it's based off
yeah.
of Elvis Presley, which I'm like, like we're talking
Elvis.
very dated at that point.
I love
Like,
that this episode is the colonizer episode. Got Bring It On, all about gentrification and colonizers. We've got this musical that's based off of Elvis Presley, one of the OG colonizers of black music.
oh, I can't wait to put this one out. This is gonna be great. But
Fight
yeah,
Fight me.
but yeah, like it's just it's not the music that we particularly gravitate towards. I would argue it's the era of music that lasted the shortest amount of time and
Definitely.
is the least regarded. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very
Like,
much the least regarded.
very rarely, like, you'll hear people be like, oh yeah, like, some, like, music from, like, people will listen to music from the 60s, people will listen to music from the 70s, 80s, so on and so forth. Even, like, 40s.
40s,
Some people will
20s,
listen,
yeah.
yeah, people will listen to, but, like, you don't hear people talk about the 50s music.
It's
And I
really
don't blame them.
it's a
At
difficult
all.
era of music.
Mhm.
It's like it feels like every song was made in a shoe. You know, like
Yeah, I
like
mean, because they, like, this was, like, right after the, like, war and everything, so they're, like, really trying to push white America and, like, the nuclear family. Not to get into all the politics and all that stupid fun jazz, but, like, that's why it sounds like that.
yeah. It
It's
just
just
it
because of
sounds
the
like
atmosphere and vibe of the 50s.
and I think it's because of I think
Incredibly
it's be-
racist and, like, just, we have to make everything white. Everything needs to be white.
and I don't know if it's because of there was this music player, I can't remember the name of it, but it was sort of like a vinyl player, but like it had like that
Not the
huge
gramophone.
that.
Oh yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
all of the music sounds like it was intended to play on that, and like
Yes.
now hearing it, like you know, if you hear it through digital or
Mhm.
through your headphones, you're like, ugh, like
It just doesn't translate. 'Cause
it doesn't
gramophones
it doesn't
were
translate.
in mono, and
Yeah.
then they probably re-edited this musical once vinyl players came out, and they could do stereo, but like very simple stereo and everything. So that's why you have like, and this isn't a thing with like just this musical. Like all of the music from like the late 50s and 60s, like even the Beatles does this technique of like having like all of the drums on just one side of your ear and everything when you listen to it, like not through mono speakers
Right.
and everything. So it just sounds bad to us in the modern age, but back then it probably sounded fine.
Probably ruled.
Because because they had the correct technology to listen to it all.
Right.
And everything.
So yeah, it's just
But
it's,
yeah, I am interested. I didn't know that. I knew that. I assumed they're doing it kind of like how they did Jesus Superstar.
yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing how that how it translates. Then
Me too. Like,
yeah,
cause like,
they
I'm like,
have to update a lot of these songs if they're gonna go like a more modern angle for it, or if they're gonna do it straight. They're still
I
gonna have
think
to
they're
update.
doing it straight. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
because here's the thing. Like, this is still regarded as a classic
Yes.
musical.
Yes.
Beloved by some people, clearly, right? I mean, it's a 4-time Tony winner.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they'll
But-
stick to the classic
Yeah.
nature
I
of
can
it, but
see why it hasn't been revived since 2009, though.
yeah. So this will be I'm curious. I'm curious how this will turn out. Yeah, I would love to see. I'm gonna withhold. I mean, whatever grade I give this, it's asterisks by me seeing the newer updated version, because I just can't really get behind it as it is. So right now I'm going with
I'm going with a C,
C.
right now.
Yeah, like
Just
a solid
because
C.
It's fine. Does its thing.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a classic. It has its moments.
Yeah.
I'm sure visually it rules, but
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's got too many problems. But so this was a rough one.
Oh, yeah.
This was a rough one.
Next
Two-
week.
Yeah, what do we got? Please tell
Next
me
week
it's
we're
good.
going into the C's.
Oh, we finally in the C's?
Cabaret.
Ooh!
And Catch Me If You Can.
Oh my goodness!
So
Oh.
we're in for some goodies.
Cabaret, let's go!
Yeah, Cabaret and Catch Me If You Can. So
That'll be
That'll
great.
be that'll be a fun time. Yeah. Week after that's Cats in Chicago.
Okay.
That'll be an interesting one as well.
Yeah, that. It seems like it'd be great to get like we've only had like 2 awesome ones like once.
Yeah.
Usually it's either one great one and one or
Yeah.
2 really bad ones. Like we need come on, we need
something.
we need
Yeah.
keep this up. So yeah. But that was solid. So there's our thoughts. D- on Bring It On. C for Bye Bye Birdie. We are gonna get out of here. Thank you guys so much for listening. My name is Phoenix Clouden.
I am Lazuli.
We have been your adjacent theater kids, and we are out.
I jump, you can't look, but don't you hump. Whoa, I'm danger, I roar.